Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a Windwalker PvP guide. You guys have been asking me this in the comment section for a while now. I finally hit Duelist on my monk, and I feel comfortable enough to do a guide on it now. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get this started. First things first, covenants. There's two different covenants I've messed around with, and that has been Curian and Necrolord. My personal recommendation is Necrolord right now. The survivability is just way too hard to give up for Windwalker because we are the squishiest class in the game. You get blown up quite easily, and Fleshcraft and frictionless coating helps out a little bit in this department. So my personal recommendation is to play Necrolord right now, but you can play Curian and stuff like Battlegrounds and stuff because Curian is a lot more fun to me. It feels a lot more fun, but you do sacrifice a big survivability chunk of your survivability for it. So Curian is the Fist of Fury build, and Necrolord is the Spinning Crane Kick build. Try out both, feels what is more fun to you. But yeah, my recommendation is Necrolord and what this will be about. Having a hard time talking, sorry. But yeah, that's it for covenants. Now let's go over talents. First row, you can go either Chi Wave or Eye of the Tiger. I like Eye of the Tiger personally more because it's a dot and it's good versus stealth classes. So in case somebody tries to get a reset with stealth, they add the dot on them, pulls them out of stealth. That's all there is to it. It's just up to you on what you like more, but I like Eye of the Tiger more. Next row, Tiger's Lust. You need to get out of roots and snares. That's all there is to it. So just go with Tiger Lust in this row. Third row is Fist of the White Tiger. It generates 3 chi automatically, so it's really nice to get that instantly 3 chi, and you can just go ahead and Fist of Fury if you need it, and that's the reason why I take it. And that's my personal recommendation for this row. I've seen some people use Ascension a few times, but I still think Fist of the White Tiger feels a lot better, getting that 3 chi instantly. Next row is Ring of Peace. Ring of Peace is like the most insane ability for monks. Like there's so many good plays. I've literally saved so many people with Ring of Peace, and not only that, myself as well. You can block people off. It's just it's Ring of Peace is just amazing, and my favorite ability to use on my monk right now, especially once you get used to it and how and when you should use it. Next row, all three of these are good. Diffuse Magic against casters, of course, and you can use Inner Strength or Dampening Harm against melee players. I personally like Dampening Harm more because I feel like it just helps me live a little bit longer because you do have to stack Inner Strength, and it only lasts 5 seconds. So I like Dampening Harm personally. Some people say they love Inner Strength more, so I feel like it might be personal preference, but it's been working for me. So I use Dampening Harm against melee, Diffuse Magic against casters. That's really all there is to it. And if you want to use Inner Strength against melee instead of Dampening Harm, you can do that too. I feel like it'd probably be better in 3v3, or if you're running with a healer in 2v2. So, in the end, it's up to you, but this is what I usually run with. Next row, I run with Dance with Chi, especially with Necrolord, because you're going to be doing a lot of damage with Spinning Crane Kick, and Spinning Crane Kick hits really, really hard with 5 stacks, or a lot of stacks. Next row, Whirling Dragon Punch. I have run with Serenity before, but I feel like having double Storm, Earth, and Fire is really, really nice. So I just stick with a Whirling Dragon Punch, and it does a decent amount of damage too. So that's all there is to it. On our talents, Turbo Fist is mandatory. You're always going to be running this. Alpha Tiger, I feel like, is also mandatory. Everybody pretty much always runs this. It gives you 30% haste for 8 seconds. So you have an insane amount of haste. Right now, I got 33% haste after using it. It's only for 8 seconds, but having that amount of haste is pretty big. And then Grapple Weapon, of course, is the one you're going to be switching out. You will be using Grapple Weapon against melee. And if there's casters, you either run Ride the Wind or Reverse Harm. I usually run Ride the Wind versus like Frost Mages, and then Reverse Harm against mostly anything else. Ride the Wind is also pretty good against Hunters, of course. These are going to be constantly slowed. But yeah, so those are my two go-to, or my two other go-to honor talents, personally. And that's it for honor talents. So, up next is stats. Stats, you want to go versatility is your first one, then mastery, and then of course crits, and then haste. And that's pretty much it. Just versatility, mastery, crit, then haste. You won't really need much haste because you will be running the whole alpha tiger thing. So you'll have a decent amount of haste pretty much almost all the time. Now for legendaries. You're going to want to run Kiefer's Skyreach, and basically what this does is Tiger's Palm now gives you a 10-yard range, and Tiger Palm also makes your target makes your target take 50% increased crit. So, see how far I am right now? I am 10 yards right now. This is as far as 10 yards is, and you just rush right at him. And then it'll give you a buff on your target for 6 seconds that makes him take 50% increased crit damage, which is huge. So if you're gonna burst your target, make sure you have the it doesn't have the Skyreach exhaustion buff up, which lasts 1 minute. So make sure you don't Tiger's Palm your kill target until you have your cooldowns up, because that way, once you have your cooldowns, then you Tiger's Palm, they take 6% increased damage, and then they just get 100 zeroed. And it's really nuts. So, that's pretty much the legendary. The other one everybody always knows, Unity. That's your second legendary because you can't pick any other one. And your abilities have a low chance to cast Bone Dust Brew. So, I personally have that on my belt. And, yeah, that's pretty much it. So, up next is tier. So as you can see, I have my helmet is my legendary. So the other 4 pieces you're gonna want is on your shoulders, your chest piece, your gloves, and your pants. And that is pretty much the tier you're gonna want it on. And obviously you're gonna want your 4 set. The 2 set already gives you 40% increased Fist of Fury damage, so more Fist of Fury damage. Who does not want that? And after you use 10 abilities, your next 3 offense abilities deal 22% increased damage. So that'll make your Rising Sun Kick or Fist of Fury hit even harder. Alright, up next is Soul Mines and Conduits. You're going to be using Plague Demiser, and basically the first one you're going to want to be using is Coordinated Offensive. This will increase your damage on Storm, Earth, and Fire, or Serenity, whichever one you're running. And if they're attacking the same target, they deal 18% increased damage, or higher or lower depending on what conduit you're using. But yeah, this will be your first conduit. Then the next one is Fortifying Ingredients. When you use Fortifying Brew, it basically gives you a shield for 15 seconds. Then after that, you'll be using the Bone Marrow Hops, which basically helps your Bone Dust Brew. Then you'll be using Harm Denial, which increases the healing for Expels Harm. Then after that, you'll be using Calculated Strikes, which increases the bonus damage for Spinning Crane Kick. Then after that, you will be using Grounding Breath, which casting Vivify on yourself increases its healing. So basically, this will help your healing once you use it on yourself, and it has a 30% chance to refund its cost. And that's pretty much it for conduits. Alright, up next is Arenacomp. So I ran with a sub-rogue Windwalker to 1,800, and then from 1,800 I ran all the way to 2.1 with a ret. So those are the 2v2, or that's the 2v2 comp I ran to get Duelist on. It was the same person, he just ended up switching to his ret Paladin towards the end, but yeah, so that is the comp I ran with to 2.1. I don't really run 3v3s, unfortunately, so I can't really speak for that, but yeah, so that is the comp I ran with to get Duelist. Now for rotation. Basically, how one of our conduits works is when you strike a unique target, it will increase the damage with the Spinning Crane Kick. So basically what I like to do is I like to Tiger's Palm anything nearby that is not my kill target, or blackout kick, and you can see my spinning crane kick stacks are increasing. It went to 3 to 4, and then, for example, I'm gonna go kill target the Raiders training dummy here now that I have 4 stacks. I pop Bone Dust Brew, I pop my Tiger, Storm Earth and Fire, Tiger's Palm, Leg Sweep, and then Rising Sun Kick into Fist of Fury. And most of the time, they're either dead or almost dead, and then I Rolling Dragon Punch, and like I said, they're usually dead by then. And that is pretty much the rotation. Obviously, you're going to want to use your Storm, Earth, and Fire on the same target, so if they're not attacking the same target, just use the ability again, and they'll focus the same target. For example, here, let me try and mention again. See, they're splitting. I use the ability again, he comes over here. And you want to make sure that they're on the same target. And that's pretty much the rotation for Windwalker Monk. So, to show you guys again, I like to Tiger's Palm or Blackout Kick, anything to get my spinning crane kick stacks up. And once I have enough stacks, I go to my kill target. I use Tiger's Palm to get that. I mean, not Tiger's Palm. I use the White Tiger and Storm, Earth, and Fire, and then I Tiger's Palm and stun, Rising Sun Kick, Fist of Fury. Obviously, I couldn't really show it because everything was on cooldown, but hopefully that kind of helps you guys out. Obviously, you can't really get that amount of stacks like all the time, but if you can't get any more like spinning crane kicks, or if you're like fighting one person, then you don't obviously have to like get your spinning crane kick stacks on like several targets. Just make sure when you burst somebody, you have your cooldowns up, and then you Tiger's Palm because it only lasts 6 seconds to crit them with the legendary, and then you just go full on damage. You can see how much damage I can do with all that crit. It's nuts. So that's pretty much it for the rotation. It's pretty simple. You'll pretty much get used to it. Just make sure, like I said, you time your Tiger's Palm with your burst at the right time because the crit only lasts 6 seconds, and you can't use the crit legendary for 1 minute on your kill target after that. And 1 minute is obviously a pretty long time. So hopefully this guide helps you guys out, and I'll see you guys later.